This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the world.
Roy Sheinfeld, CEO of Breez, Tel Aviv, Israel.
The best plebs are born in Tel Aviv.
No.
The Silence of the Lambs is a 1991 American psychological horror film directed by Jonathan Demme and written by Ted Talley. It stars Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee who is hunting a serial killer who skins his female victims. To catch him, she seeks the advice of the imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, a cannibalistic serial killer. Did you know that this movie recouped its budget in the first week of its release?
No.
John Le Carre is a British author, and Joe Nesbo, a British author. Two of your favorite writers are known for their detective, crime and espionage novels. Is it a child's dream working as a secret agent?
No.
I don't own anything yellow.
Yes, that's true.
Last week, the famous rock band The Afghan Whigs released their ninth album, How Do You Burn? Are you glad to hear new stuff from Greg Dully?
Yes, definitely.
I run more than 10 lightning nodes.
No.
Tel Aviv is famous for its wide variety of world-class restaurants, offering traditional Israeli dishes as well as international fare. But did you know that Tel Aviv also has the third highest concentration of sushi restaurants in the world?
No.
Is it hard to survive on a one meal a day diet?
No.
I will be present at the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference.
Yes!
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
Yes!
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 45 of Connect the World. Stef! And there you are.
Hey, mates.
Hey. How was your week?
Yeah, my week was fine. I had a weekend off, so I went to Middelburg with my wife.
Ah, the place to be.
Yeah, it was but it's a really nice city. We brought the boys to my mother and my mother-in-law. So we really had a very relaxing weekend. So it was
time for each other.
Yeah, time for each other. So I told my wife I missed you, but I really mean that because you're living in such a roller coaster for months, and you don't even have time to really have a good conversation with each other. So when we were,
and you only do the functional stuff.
But it really is. I don't want to complain. I mean, I really love the boys, but it's as I said, it's kind of roller coaster. So I really miss talking to my wife in a very calm and easy way. So it was 2.5 hours drive for us. So we had plenty of time to talk to each other. And so
important to invest time in each other. Great.
It brought back some memories from before we had kids, and we really had some amazing food. Ate a lot of oysters. Do you like oysters, Edward?
I've ate them, and I never ate them before. It was a couple of months ago, but I really liked it. But I had some with cinnamon and some other spices. So I think it for me it wasn't the sea salt and the real sea taste. So I think that's why I liked it. So I don't know if I just the normal one without spices.
We went to Ierske. I don't know if I pronounce it right, but it's like the hometown of all the oyster companies in Zeeland, the province of Zeeland, and it was amazing. So I ate a lot of oysters and a lot of mussels, and And we relaxed, and I went to the spa. So I had spent some minutes in the sauna.
Some relaxation.
Yeah, man. And Saturday I was I think most of the time just on the hotel room reading some books. Watched Formula One obviously, and some other sports. So it was great. And you worked last night as well.
I worked, and together with my wife. So that's nice. And we really enjoy it. Really, of course, it's work, but it's also an experience for us together. So, but now it's a wedding hangover day, so I really feel exhausted.
You don't look that exhausted, to be honest.
Well, thanks. But yeah, my legs for standing so many hours, but it was really great and an amazing day again. Yeah,
cool, nice. Hey, and there are two things I want to talk about, Edward. Actually,
of course.
Our guest of today is Roy Sheinfeld, and he's the co-founder and CEO of Breez, which is an amazing wallet application, but it's so much more than just a Lightning wallet. So if you don't use it, you have to install it and you have to find out yourself. It's really a very great application. But the cool thing is, Roy, and if the hardcore Connect the World audience already knows it, but he is attending our Connect the World meetup at the 12th and 13th of October, like next Wednesday and Thursday. After the Bitcoin Amsterdam conference, we have 2 satellite events, and he is also one of our confirmed guests. So I hope that everyone enjoys this interview, and if you are curious about everything Roy is up to, you can talk to him next week. If you join our meetup, you can find more info at meetup.com/Connect the World. And you can also...
so if you're not attending, then please do.
Sure. And of course, it will be amazing to have a beer with you.
Of course. And Roy, well, it's a whole ecosystem, so it's great that he's there, and we can enjoy beer together. Everybody is, and I see a lot of people are attending. Of course, we still have some room, so definitely come over there. If you're there, then you can eat something with us, and we'll talk Lightning, right?
Really looking forward to it.
And last episode, Stef, we had Dmitry Leptev from Ellen to Me, and he gave away 10 times 5 million inbound capacity channels. So that's a very nice win for the giveaway. And keep an eye on Twitter for all the winners. At our Twitter account, CTW_podcast for the announcement. And perhaps you're the lucky one.
10 winners are a bit much to announce here, so we will do it at our Twitter page. But again, amazing prize, and there was a lot of interest from within our community, but also outside of our community. I think a lot of people really recognize that this was a prize that you should win if you are a notable node operator.
And if you want to grow your node, so that's great. And I've did some read up this week, and I've read article guest post from by Doug. Bitcoin is Freedom, OML, a community member, gave me this tip, and it is a great article about Doug is the founder of Bitramp. That's good to know. And a proponent of local Bitcoin on-ramps. And Bitramp is an Azteco partner, wants to make Bitcoin easy. And the funny thing was, he showed it to me also, this community member, OML, has a POS system from Azteco, and he printed a voucher, and that voucher you can send to no-coiners, for example, and they can then redeem the sets, and it's all KYC, non-KYC. So, really great system. He will bring it also to Bri, so if anybody wants to see it in action, then come to Bri, and he will bring it there. And the article Doc wrote describes how meetups are a place where the Bitcoin novices and experts alike join to commune, educate, and collaborate on ways to advance adoption in their local economies. And the title is The Importance of Keeping Bitcoin Adoption Local. I think that's really interesting because, of course, we are also a community. And we see that, to start locally can have a great strength. And Doug describes that local community where individual grassroots movements are shining the light on Bitcoin for their neighbors. Meetups and small businesses are advancing adoption through education and engagement. That's exactly what we're doing also. And the strongest catalyst to educate and onboard the next billion users. Because that will happen if we all keep educating our neighbors and peers. So I think it's interesting to read. I've added it in the show notes, and if you're curious, then read it.
Cool. Let's start to talk a little bit about the statistics of the Lightning Network, Edward, and about our Rings of Fire community. And the second part will be with Roy.
Yep,
Connect
let's do that.
The world.
So last week we had a little over 43.23 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week we added only 12 million sets. But hey, it's still 12 million, right? So we are now at 43.35 Bitcoin with around 1,437 members participating in over 191 rings. So the 200 ring will be here very soon.
Yeah. And we're now at block height 756,850 with 17,060 nodes in the Lightning Network, the same as last week. But with more capacity, we've added more than 87 Bitcoin. Brings up to a total of 4,908 Bitcoin.
Yep. And the 1 million Satoshi is getting you $192, €196, and 1,366 Chinese yuan.
Conecte o mundo.
And then some highlighted news updates from last week brought to you by the Daily Moon. Let's start with Raspberry Blitz. Raspberry Blitz is researching a transition to use Nix OS as a base to Raspberry Blitz. And Nix is a tool to make reproducible and reliable builds in a declarative way. This approach is widely considered good practice for managing infrastructure, and it could spawn a sister project with the name Nix Blitz. And this Nix OS-based system makes it possible to swap engines underneath the backend API. So at one point in the future, users can migrate and read everything there is to know about it and join the discussion on GitHub. I've also added a video of Nix OS. And then MicroStrategy, most of our listeners know it. They own about 130,000 Bitcoin.
It's a little more than you own.
And they are now also on the lookout for a Bitcoin Lightning engineer. And according to their information, they want to build a Lightning Network-based SaaS platform, so software as a service, providing enterprises with innovative solutions to cybersecurity challenges and enabling new e-commerce use cases. So it's interesting to see what they're up to. I've added a link to an article on their website. And then Lightning Labs released or announced very big news because they released the alpha of Taro Daemon, enabling developers to mint, send, and receive assets on the Bitcoin blockchain. This clears the way towards integrating the Taro protocol into LND, bringing Taro assets to the Lightning Network in the future. And then the last one is about BitNob. It's the fastest growing Bitcoin app in Africa. We talked about it earlier, some early episode, and they are now also active in Kenya. And combined with Machinkura, it's super easy to send sats through the Lightning Network. We'll keep following the adoption there and report back if there's something interesting to talk about. And then I've added one update mention from Starbacker. Starbacker is building a content monetization platform on the Lightning Network for creators. And they strive to make it less expensive, faster, and more creator-friendly. And they just released an update that will bring better menus and dark mode. and your balance is better visible. And a new wallet flow is added to evaluate usernames and also Lightning address.
And do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to the Lightning, the news and updates? Then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter or Telegram.
Conectado Lumea.
Yeah, so last week it was a little, it was not that busy. We only added 12 million sets, but we balanced one ring and we welcome our first member of Malaysia. So that was interesting.
Great.
Yeah.
Another country.
Another country added to our Hall of Fame. So it was the 2 million Satoshi's 30th ring, which he participated in. It was a very hard one once again, because channels keep going offline. But we had 2 amazing ring leaders with Royal Ronnie G and Ursus Corylus, also known as Matteo and Royal. And they did their utmost to get this ring balanced. First, it looked like Matteo would get the job done, but eventually Roy was the chosen one. So great teamwork at both of the guys. And as I already said, it was a new participant from Malaysia, someone from Germany, Holland, United States, and Slovenia who were participating in this Ring of Fire. And we had the 500K. I don't know which ring it was, but they all posted photos of their Raspberry Pis and software distribution in the group. So that was very nice to see. They were discussing what node of software do you use, or what hardware do you use. So it was a very...
Some use the Road to Nodes I saw, so custom build. It was the 40th
the 40th
ring.
500K ring, yeah. So
it's super nice to see all those pictures.
yeah, indeed. And I think we still have to balance that ring, right? Yeah. We were waiting on the final participant to join, but we are now with 7. So almost opening the channels over there.
So that was it, Stef. Thanks. And let's head to the Lightning notes.
Let's do it.
Conecte o mundo.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Oh, what an energy, mate!
Yeah.
So we have Satoshi Nakamoto. We can announce that Satoshi Nakamoto
is coming.
Is attending Bitcoin Amsterdam at one.
I just don't want Odile now to go to court with him. He's a great friend, so don't sue me, Magnus, please.
Oh man, it will cost you a lot of Satoshis if they will be at your back, man. So be careful.
I was just kidding.
Oh, we know. We are all Satoshi, right? So,
but you're coming to Amsterdam. That's great.
Yeah, I can't miss Amsterdam. Yeah.
Cool, man. And you don't own anything yellow, but it's a trick question. It's a funny question, but maybe you can explain our listeners and viewers, because we did some research about you, of course. What is it about that you hate the color yellow? But you dislike the color yellow so much?
Well, Steph, I have a reputation to maintain, and you're like you're screwing up my reputation because I perceive like as a serious guy, and now like people listening to this podcast will say like this guy is nuts. But yeah, I'm a bit kooky when it comes to to the color yellow because I'm a fan. In Tel Aviv, there are two major sports clubs. One is Maccabi Tel Aviv, who wears yellow, and my favorite team is Hapoel Tel Aviv, who wears red. And like red versus yellow, since I was a little kid, my father took me to Hapoel Tel Aviv games. I wore only red, and yellow was like a taboo. Like we couldn't have anything yellow, and I carry on the tradition by not buying any yellow clothing or having anything yellow in my house. Yeah.
I don't dare to say, but my favorite color is yellow.
Oh,
the
no,
color
don't
of
do
the
it.
sun. No,
don't
really.
do it. Not at the beginning of this episode, Edward.
No,
please.
I'm not going to mention it again.
But and one thing, Roy, what color do you get when you mix up yellow and red?
Orange. Yeah.
Bitcoin orange, mate.
Yeah.
So you are
orange is good.
You love it a bit, maybe then. Oh, nice, man. So again, it's great to have you on the show. We really love Breez. Obviously, we used it actually to demonstrate when we built an NFC card to use at the Bitcoin conference, and the point of sale function within Breez works flawlessly with our NFC card, and they don't. All the others didn't work that much, but Breez does. So it's really good for us to use Breez as a point of sale to test out our NFC card. So
well, and now you're talking about Breez, but and you said no to having more than 10 Lightning nodes, but Breez is a Lightning node in your pocket, right? So if you have some old phones, then the count to 10 is very fast.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm getting to a 10 to 10 nodes. Absolutely. You didn't ask about channels.
No, that's right.
The Breez node runs tens of thousands of channels. So I have a lot of channels if you want. But our routing node, our production node is only one node. We also have several staging nodes, but only one single production node.
Okay.
Cool. And can you maybe tell us something about, we asked if all the best plebs were born in Tel Aviv, and this is also a bit of a joke, of course, because you're a fanatic at the plebs TLV project. Can you maybe elaborate a bit about it? What's its community? What does it stand for? What it is?
So pleb TLV it came from my desire to bring the pleb culture to Tel Aviv, because Breez, surprisingly enough, is maybe the only Bitcoin software company in Israel. So Israel and Tel Aviv specifically is well known in startup community, the startup scene, the high tech scene. Like everyone is a developer, everyone is doing something around tech, but there's not a lot of Bitcoiners. There are a few Bitcoiners. There's a Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv, but there's not a lot of software companies that are building stuff on top of Bitcoin. A lot of developers are attracted to the Web3 shitcoin stuff, and Pleb TV is kind of my attempt to start and incubate and cultivate the Bitcoin culture in Tel Aviv in a hope that we won't just see Bitcoin enthusiasts joining the community, but also builders joining the community and start really understanding that we can build on top of Bitcoin as a technology, and we can build Bitcoin companies, Lightning companies that also generate revenue. So Bitcoin is not just a currency, but it's also a technology that we can build a solution on top of.
Cool. So you're doing a great job then over there, I can imagine.
Well, it's a start, and I have great friends. We have the support of the Bitcoin Embassy. I have a partner in crime, Guy Armoni, who's helping me with this venture. We having our fourth session this Sunday So I'm welcome everyone to join plebtlv.com, register, come to our events, and help us grow. Have a newborn plebs in Tel Aviv.
Cool, nice. And is it all local, or can people also join online or something? Do you have maybe a Telegram group or?
We have a Telegram group, plebtlv as well. We're trying right now to build a community, like face-to-face, in-person community, because I feel this energy, that's what we need to cultivate, like the face-to-face energy. There are requests to add another online aspect to plebtlv. We want the FOMO, meaning we want for people to have the missing out feeling if they didn't come to an event. So I'm not sure we'll have something online until we'll stabilize like the first building block of the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
These kind of initiatives need to be in every country because this really works, and it's very important. So yeah, great.
Yeah, shout out to Pleb Lab in Austin, Texas, who are doing like an amazing job with cultivating the Bitcoin and Lightning culture in Austin. I'm kind of envy them, and because I'm jealous, I wanted to start something in Tel Aviv.
Cool, nice. We will follow that project. Very curious how it will develop in the couple of years to go. So nice, man.
Yeah, with the Connect the World stuff, we're doing the same, right? There are a lot of developers, and we try to have them on and give them something to work with. So this is and all these recordings also with you. It's very interesting for a lot of plebs that want to contribute in any form. So great.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm ready for the official interview part because we have all nice questions for Roy about Breez, but also his vision about the Lightning Network. So if you guys are ready, Roy, if you are ready, Edward, if you are ready, we would really love to enter that part, guys. Let's do it.
All right.
Connetti il mondo.
Well, let's start right away with Breez. And you've described Breez as not being a wallet, but as the interface to the Lightning economy ecosystem with two pillars, infrastructure and services built on top of the interface. Can you elaborate about all possibilities within these pillars?
Yeah, definitely. So first, nice. You've been following my writings and you're listening to my previous.
We have a lot more, Roy.
To my previous podcast. So when I talk about Breez, I talk about Breez as the interface to the Lightning economy, because wallet. What we're doing here, we're really changing the way people interact with money. It's not about like the technical aspect of saving your keys, which maybe I'm not a fan of the term wallet in general when it comes to Bitcoin and Lightning specifically, not just in the context of Breez. But what I feel that we're doing, we're really changing the dynamics of the ways people interact with money. So when you, for example, can download Breez and switch to a point of sale mode, as you've mentioned before, and start accepting payments without a bank account, it means that you have a new experience that is something that only Bitcoin or something that only Bitcoin can offer. Like you don't have this experience in the fiat world. The same goes when you listen to a podcast and you stream sats to the podcaster. This experience of streaming sats is an experience that you can't have in a fiat-based economy. So, and the pillars are twofold. The first pillar, the first building block, is an infrastructure pillar, where we try to improve the Lightning Network in terms of the underlying stack and the underlying implementation in order to allow simple onboarding and simple user experience for users that are not tech savvy. So we've added the stuff to LND. We've optimized LND. We've created an interception layer inside LND that allows us to open channels on the fly. We've implemented zero confirmation channels, which allows you to spend the funds immediately after you receive them. We've invented the notion of an LSP, a Lightning Service Provider, that seamlessly connects you to the Lightning Network. So there's a lot of work that we've been doing at Breez at this base pillar of improving the technology stack and building an infrastructure that will allow us to create new experiences on top of it. And that's the second pillar. The second pillar is the experiences pillar, where we try to engage with the market and try to engage with our users to see where Lightning brings value to them. And that's why we've created the point of sale interface. And that's why we've created the podcast player within Breez. And we have tons of additional ideas of how and when people can interact with the Lightning economy. But before we do that, we need a solid, robust infrastructure.
Do you think it's necessary, because Breez is working on both Android and iOS, but do you think it's necessary to change something for apps like Breez to even work better?
Yes, definitely. We haven't gone into the point where we've created an experience that is on par with Fiat. I think we've made a lot of improvements when it comes to onboarding non-tech savvy users, but I think the experience is still clunky. So there's a lot of work to be done in order to create an infrastructure that can seamlessly be used for normal users, and a robust system. Meaning, we don't want, for example, Lightning payments to fail. This experience of you trying to pay and failing because it's Lightning, that experience doesn't really exist in the Fiat world, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for Lightning to succeed, we want to get to a 99.99999% success, and that will take some time.
Yeah. And the Breez app is a fully functional Lightning node running on your mobile phone. I think a lot of users didn't check the developer tab, but if you look there you can see it really is a Lightning node. And running on a mobile phone must be, of course, a difficult thing. How did you came up with the idea to use Neutrino and compact blocks with BIP 157 and 158 and private channels, of course, to pull this off? Because did it yet exist, or was it a new thing to come up with?
When we started, we were the first implementation to take LND and fork LND and optimize LND in order to work, in order to be able to run it seamlessly on a mobile device. So we were the first to do that, and that required a lot of work. That required optimizations in Neutrino. For example, I'll give you just one example. So initially, when you use Neutrino, Neutrino started to sync from the first Lightning channel ever. So it took like hours to synchronize Neutrino in order to run the application. Yeah. I'll give you another example. For example, you had to be synchronized with the change in order to send payments. However, synchronization with the chain doesn't really help when it comes to sending payment. It helps when it comes to receiving payment, because when you receive payment, you don't want people to cheat you. But when you send payment, no one can cheat you because you're spending your own funds. So we've added another optimization that doesn't require you to be synced to the chain in order to send payment. So there's a bunch. I can go like
no, of course.
The podcast will never end if I'll start discussing the optimization that we've done. But to answer your question, we were the first to run LND, and Neutrino as part of LND in mobile devices. We've optimized it a bunch, and it still requires a lot of work, meaning there's more to be done in order to provide this seamless experience that we have in mind.
Okay.
Let's stop here because we only have 21 minutes, Roy. Hey, you partnered with Blockstream to integrate their Greenlight solution, which is a new service that provides simple, secure access to the Lightning Network and allowing anyone to spin up the Lightning node in the cloud while retaining complete control over their funds. But what are the next steps for Breez with this collaboration?
Great question. So yeah, we've partnered with Blockstream in order to have another offering that instead of running a node as part of the mobile app, will be able to interact with the node, and the node will reside in the cloud while keeping everything non-custodial because the keys are still on the device. So we're keeping the same like non-custodial ethos, but we're having an architecture where multiple apps can interact with the same node. And I think that in order to scale, we need this multi-app experience because what's happening now is that we're building all the experiences into Breez. So Breez is a wallet, but Breez is also a podcast player, and Breez is also a point of sale. And if we wanted to add video streaming, we would have to add another tab into the Breez app, and that doesn't scale. Because if you want to do something good, it really needs to be like a dedicated, separate app. But in order to have this experience of multiple apps interacting with the same node, we need this cloud environment. And Blockstream with Greenlight provide us this cloud infrastructure that will enable us to interact with the same node from multiple apps. And now we're doing that on mobile, but maybe next we will be able to extend to web and also create web experiences and desktop experiences that interact with the Lightning economy. So that's the reasoning behind the partnering with Blockstream.
Cool.
I was thinking about the next step and goal for Breez, and I've heard that your goal is also to offer an API SDK solution with Breez as an infrastructure to other developers and other parties. This way, they can build their own applications on top of it, of course. What is needed for this change, except perhaps the collaboration with Blockstream for the cloud? And what are the advantages of an infrastructure in the cloud? Because there are perhaps also some trade-offs.
So there are a lot of missing pieces. So we started this SDK journey because we want to offer developers the Breez as an infrastructure, what I call Lightning as a service. We want, by the end of the day, we want developers and companies and vendors to build their own solutions on top of our infrastructure. And that's because we want to bring new domain expertise into Lightning. So I think the missing piece with Bitcoin when it comes to Bitcoin adoption is getting developers implementing their own domain expertise without them knowing how to run nodes and how to create an LSPs. And they need something very simple just in order to plug and play to their own offering because they bring domain expertise. It can be games, it can be social network, it can be like content creation, it can be like everything. And we bring Lightning domain expertise. So that's what we want to deliver. The how has to be a cloud component to it because, again, we want multiple apps to interact with the same user node. It doesn't make sense to replicate the experience in every app. And the missing pieces are completing this Greenlight product. It's also about converting our code base because currently most of our code base is in Flutter, but if we want every mobile developer to integrate with our infrastructure, we need to have a Rust code base. So we need to migrate a lot of the code base to Rust. And it's also about improving the LSP piece of the puzzle, meaning we don't want to be the sole LSP. We want to open up to third-party LSPs and provide more liquidity by using the services of third-party LSPs.
Cool. Yeah. And we already talked a little bit about your point-of-sale solution with Breez, and it really seems mature already. We tested out itself, as already mentioned. but with, for example, possibilities for accounting and to generate reports. But for any merchant, this is a real must to have, so like a point of sale like this. But are you planning on releasing a standalone version in the near future?
Yes. So once we'll complete the Greenlight migration, then we'll be able to spin off the podcast player and the point of sale app into separate apps, and then we can really start investing in these apps, because it's a bit clunky to add more functionality to the Breez app, but it will be less clunky and more streamlined when we'll add more functionality to separate apps. So yeah, definitely.
Nice.
So you think Breez as an infrastructure, well, that's what I believe, but can help reach mass adoption of Lightning on a very broader scale. And the underlying technology, is hidden for most users. Do you think that's important to focus more on user experience than on the technology?
I think again, that's the two pillars that I'm always talking about: the technology pillar and the experience pillar. We need to make advances at both. We need a technology that is robust, that is fail-safe, that provides the experience pillar everything it needs in order to create a seamless user experience. So we need to make advances. We're not there yet in the technology layer, stuff like asynchronous payments or stuff like splicing. There's a lot of infrastructure that is still missing in the technological pillar. In terms of experience, once we'll have a stable technical layer, it's all about go-to-market. It's all about providing the right use cases where Lightning adds value. Because if there's something I've learned in the past 4 years doing Breez, is that users don't care about Bitcoin. Most users don't care about Bitcoin. Most users don't care about all the stuff that we're talking in our echo chamber, not your keys, not your coins, and everything. They care about value. So we need to find the use cases that peer-to-peer economy provides value to end users. And I think the two go in tandem. Like we need to improve the technical layer, but we also need to work on experiences and go to market in order to get to mass adoption.
And are you also planning then to integrate messaging? You already told us a bit about video maybe, but also music. Are there things that you want to integrate in the near future?
So with the SDK play, what I'm hoping is that domain experts, the reason we've done point of sale is because Square are not doing point of sale on top of Bitcoin. And the reason we're doing podcasting is because Spotify and Apple are not doing podcasting on top of Bitcoin. So my hope is that mainstream applications will add Bitcoin monetization and Lightning monetization using our SDK into their own offering. That's my goal.
Ultimate goal.
I don't want, like, the reason we're creating front ends right now is in order to showcase the possibility. But my end goal is that mainstream applications, domain experts in music, in videos, in games will integrate Lightning using our SDK. That's my ultimate goal.
That will be terrific. Yeah. And all the possibilities Breez now offers in a simple way can be a real difference in developing countries, for example. Do you have also conscious plans to really target those countries?
Again, with the SDK, I think in order to do a proper go-to-market and in order to start really seriously talking about Bitcoin adoption, we need to create localized solution. There's no one solution fits all when it comes to applications. So I don't believe like in a generic wallet. I think that we'll have to see an African remittance application, and a different application in South America, and a different application in the Philippines, because every territory has different nuances and has different concerns. Stuff that we're worried about, stuff in the Western world that the development countries really don't care about, and vice versa. So I think we'll have a proliferation of localized solution in the future.
And if you compare Breez to all the other wallets on the market, what is the biggest difference between Breez and the others? Is that all the things you add to the wallet now, or?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that we don't perceive us as a wallet. Like we see ourselves as a gateway to the Lightning economy, and we're focusing on specific experiences. I think that's what makes us unique. That's the reason some users really like us, and that's the reason some users don't really like us, because they're surprised to see a podcast player or a point of sale interface within the app. They don't understand that we're doing that because the way we see Breez right now, the Breez application, is a sandbox for testing how people interact with the Lightning economy, and it's not necessarily the end game. And the end game is for us to enable other developers and other companies to add Bitcoin monetization into their own offering.
But good news for you then, Roy, because now after this episode, everyone will know. So.
Thank you, Stef. That's the reason I'm on.
Hey, Roy, what are the strengths and weaknesses of using a non-custodial cloud storage services like Google Drive or iCloud, Remote Cloud, Nextcloud to back up or restore your wallet?
Yeah, a great question. So we have this architecture in an attempt to simplify the user experience. We do the backup to a third-party cloud vendor. So if you're on iOS, you can use your iCloud. If you're on Android, you can use a Google Drive. If you're using a vanilla device without Google services, you can use any WebDAV interface like Nextcloud or pCloud or whatever. The advantage is that out of the box, you don't need to remember your seed. You don't need to write down a seed phrase, because everything is automatically backed up to the cloud. The con is that you need to trust the cloud provider. We have ways to mitigate the trust in the cloud provider, meaning you can add an additional encryption layer on top of that. But if you do that, you're back to writing your own keys, your own mnemonics. So it's kind of I don't think we're there yet, again, in terms of removing the need to remember a seed, but it's an attempt to simplify the initial onboarding.
And non-custodial and peer-to-peer are the most important things when thinking of what Satoshi had in mind in the white paper. With Breez, there's no KYC or whatever needed. Why is it so important to be able to transact on the Lightning Network without identifying yourself?
It's about peer-to-peer. It's about the reason that you need to identify yourself is because there's a third party involved that that you need to trust and takes the risk, and because they're functioning like a money transmitter, they are obligated to meet their regulation and to have a money transmitter license, and basically everyone is using these financial institutions as a way to impose their morals on the end users. So there's no reason to do KYC AML, and if you're using peer-to-peer economy, and that's the reason we want to do peer-to-peer economy.
Of course, yeah. Hey, and I was thinking sending a payment to a Lightning address is yet possible. When will you add the possibility to also receive payments to @breez.com or Lightning address, for example?
When we'll have asynchronous payment support in the infrastructure. The reason.
Yeah. So, but when is that? Okay.
There are multiple protocol standards that needed to be implemented in order to support asynchronous payment. I think by the end, I think Q3 next year we'll have that already.
Okay, so next year, if we talk to you, then
book me. Like
we can have. All right,
we will.
2023, the year of the Lightning infrastructure on Breez. That would be great. We had a lot of more questions, but of course we don't have much time for them. So next time, perhaps, we would be delighted to have you on the show.
Apologies, I know I'm talking too much.
So. No, it was really
matter.
Interesting. We had all kinds of questions for you about your vision on the Lightning Network.
Yeah,
and the main Lightning Network. But Breez is so nice to talk about, and no
so
one better to talk about it with you, of course. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Connect o Mundo.
We have one question left for you, Roy. Last week we had Dmitry Laptev in the show, and we asked him to come up with a question for you. So Edward will play the audio file and you may answer it.
If you had an ability to come up with a rule that all Lightning nodes would have to abide by, no matter how technically feasible or controversial that rule is, what would that rule be?
Interesting question. I think we have rules already, and it's the bold standard. I want all the Lightning nodes to follow the bold standard, and I wish all the functionality would have been translated to standards, because what's happening right now, and that's very tricky from a user experience standpoint, and we talked a lot about adoption, getting to the masses. And if we want to keep the network open with a low barrier of entry, all the stuff needs to be encapsulated as a standard. And there are some stuff that I like. For example, I'll give you just one example, AMP. AMP is a way to send payments without an invoice, but only L&D implemented AMP. And that means only clients using L&D can support AMP right now, and that creates interoperability issues between wallets. So I wish that all great functionality will be encapsulated in a standard, and all the nodes will support, and all the implementation will support the standard to the T. That's what I wish for.
Nice.
All right.
Noted.
Yeah. Next time we have a new guest, and her name is Lisa Niegut. She's a Lightning protocol engineer at Blockstream, and we also want to ask her a question from you. Do you have a question for her?
Yes, I have. I'm wondering, Lisa, what do you think will be the biggest competitor to Lightning in the next 2 years?
Ooh. Nice.
That's an interesting one, yeah.
Conectado Lumia.
Thanks, Roy. It was a really
thanks again, Roy.
Interesting talk. And again, you guys, you're doing an amazing job. I really love the app. And keep up the good work. That's all I can say. And
thank you, Stef. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edward.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Where can people follow you, Roy? Where can people keep up track with all the things you are doing?
We're everywhere, really. Breez is completely open source. So if you're a developer, go to our GitHub /Breez without an E, BREEZ. Twitter, Breez_tech. We have a prolific Medium publication. You can read about what we think about the Lightning Network, the future of Lightning Network, at Breez Technology on Medium. Telegram, we have a Telegram group, so come and tell us why you like Breez or dislike Breez. We promise we'll hear you, but also feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm available everywhere, really.
Great.
Cool.
Or when you're in Amsterdam, then people can just talk to you.
Yeah, you should come to our meetup. Actually, we organized 2 side events after the conferences in collaboration with Bitcoin Magazine. It's at a great restaurant, only 5 minutes walk from the venue. So if you have some spare time, BetArc will also join.
Wednesday and Thursday evening.
And a lot of our previous guests will meet up there, and we can have a beer in person, Roy. That will be great.
And a great meal.
Only if we can buy the beer in Lightning.
Of course,
we don't organize an event where you don't get paid with Satoshi. So that's no, really, because
it's a Lightning community. So definitely Lightning.
One of our previous guests is Patrick van der Meijden from Bitkassa, and he's a point of sale provider in Holland, and he made sure that we can pay with Satoshis there. So
nice.
Yeah,
I can.
We orange pilled the restaurant, so we orange pilled too. It was a great day.
Yeah, so hope to see you there, mate. And thanks
indeed.
again.
Thanks
I mean, thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
And for everyone else, thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone connecting the world with us. If you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share all our content on your favorite platform or podcasting 2.0 app like Breez. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Lisa Niegood on the same Lightning channel. Aloha.
Mazel.
Shalom.